What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. Thank you as always for clicking in. Today in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 3 favorite books to listen to on Audible. Okay, so before we get started, don't forget to don't forget to hit that like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, all that good stuff for the YouTube algorithm. For the YouTube algorithm. And let's jump into it. All right, so I'm gonna go through my list of 3, and then I got a bonus one for you guys at the end. I'm gonna give you a little short summary and then why I like it compared to the hard copy version of the book, and then we'll get you on out of here. All right, so book number 1 is called Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. And Green Lights, I think, is just kind of a compilation of stories through his first 50 years of life. It is one of the most entertaining books I have ever listened to, okay? And you guys all know Matthew McConaughey is a world-renowned actor, and his voice just sounds super smooth and just pleasant to the ears. And he's a fantastic storyteller, and so when you combine all that with the fact that he's reading his own book of his own experiences and not somebody else's, he knows when to enunciate and when to pause. And there's a dynamic that you can't get there's a dynamic you can't get reading the hard copy, because you have to be the one that pauses or tries to read it in what voice you think he's speaking in, right? But when you listen to it on Audible, it's so entertaining. I don't remember how long the book is, but I remember finishing it in a day. And it's multiple hours, and there's just so many funny stories. But what I like about it too is that it kind of just puts life into perspective. So the summary, the short summary is that he has this concept of green lights, and so as you go through your life, things happen, you make choices, and sometimes you make a choice and all of a sudden you get this brand new opportunity that you didn't expect to get, and he calls that a green light, right? It's like yeah, keep going that way. Sometimes you hit a yellow light that it's maybe we should rethink it, but you could decide for yourself. And then red lights are just no, don't go that way, right? And so sometimes in our lives, I think we're all prone to falling for things and reacting in ways that are man, I really wish I had got that job promotion, for example. But down the line, you might have realized that promotion that you didn't get would have actually made you really unhappy. And so his way of storytelling and the concept of green lights just kind of really helps you to put things and events in your life into perspective. And so that's why I really like that one. And then you add that with the storytelling ability and his voice, and it's a magical experience. Okay, not to sound too cheesy, but I really, really, really enjoyed that book. All right, so book number 2 is Cant Hurt Me by David Goggins. Okay, all of these books I think on the list, I wouldn't be surprised if you've heard of them, and especially this one. David Goggins is wildly popular, and he's, I think, called one of the toughest men on earth, if not the toughest. And Cant Hurt Me is his story of going from obese to elite Navy SEAL to the guy that runs crazy ultra marathons and just does all these incredibly tough physical feats. And it's how he goes from obese to that, and just all the experiences in between, and all the trials and tribulations that he went through with his family, in the military, and just throughout his entire life. And so this book, you can't really help but not feel inspired afterwards, right? It's just because you're listening to it and you're like, man, if he can do that, I can do this thing that I'm scared to do. This is nothing compared to what he just read to me, right? And so the cool thing about this book too, the fact that it's that I'm bringing it up on Audible, is that it's actually not read by him. It's read by the guy who helped him put it together, basically. I forget the guy's name, but he's pretty good. But he reads the chapters. I think the guy's name was Adam. So Adam reads the chapters, but then at the end of the chapter, he and David Goggins come together and they have a more in-depth chat about the chapter, like a podcast style. So I thought that was super unique because nobody's doing that, right? But what's cool about it is that the two of them can just bounce ideas off each other, as well as kind of explain what was left out of the book, right? And they take 2 or 3 minutes and you get this more in-depth version of the chapter compared to what you would have gotten if you had just read the hard copy. So that's super unique, that's super cool, and I think that more people should do that because I think that was a fantastic idea. And I loved getting to the end of the chapter and just hearing David Goggins say like, okay, so like I wanted to put this in the book, but here's another story for you guys, and then he would explain it. And it's just super inspiring. And I'm not saying you have to go out and be like the next David Goggins or anything, but it does inspire you to kind of push yourself and see what you are capable of mentally and physically. So it's a really awesome book. Third book is I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. So it's a personal finance book, and you can subscribe to his theories, or you can subscribe to somebody else's, or have your own altogether. I'm not here to persuade you either way, but I really like his stuff. I listen to his podcast every week. But I Will Teach You to Be Rich, the book, is a fantastic launching pad for your personal finances, in my opinion, for young people. And he goes into like if you're older and the steps you should take then, but it's very much geared towards the younger person and investing early. But anyways, that's like the short summary. What I like about this book too is that on the Audible version, he again, kind of like Matthew McConaughey, knows when to pause. Sometimes he'll repeat sentences to kind of get his point across even more. And then also he'll interject and he'll go on these little rants. So he'll read a sentence and then that'll spark a thought in his mind, and he'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go off script real quick, and just kind of rant or tell us whatever he thought of, right? If you've ever listened to like a Gary Vaynerchuk audiobook, he goes off the script a lot. And I really like that because it's an added dimension that you don't get when you read the hard copy, right? And one of my favorite things in the world is to listen to books read out loud by the author, because only they know exactly what they were trying to convey, right? And when somebody else is reading it, they're just reading words off a page. Like it's not the same. So yeah, and then the other thing that I really liked the other thing I like about Ramit too is that he's very practical. And so even just this past week, right now it's March 14th, 2022, there's inflation and gas prices are going way up, right? And I don't know how much gas is where you live. Let me know down below. But in my area, the cheapest gas for me was like $5.74 or something crazy, right? But he tweeted out, he's like, compared to last week, your small Honda Civic, if you had to get 10 gallons of gas and it's 50 cents more than the last week when you got gas, that's an extra $5 this week. And so in the grand scheme of things, $5 is not a massive amount. It's not going to move the needle either way, right? And he does a very good job of simplifying things and putting it into perspective, because I think we all fall trapped to this. I do, where it's like, oh my gosh, I used to pay $45 for my gas and now it's $50. Like, who cares, right? And he outlines in his plan that you can buy as many lattes as you want. You don't have to deprive yourself of things that you like just to save some money. It's kind of contrary to other financial perspectives that are out there on the internet as well. And then the other thing that I like about him is that he teaches you how to spend your money. Most, if not like 99% of the financial advice that you see online, you get articles that are like 10 ways to save $100, 10 ways to save $1,000, or this is the number one way to save money, and it's cutting back on lattes, right? But Ramit says if we stop worrying about those, he calls them $3 questions, and he says if we start worrying about $30,000 questions, like, can you negotiate a raise at work? Can you get a higher credit limit so that your credit score goes up because you're using less? You know, stuff like that is more important and bigger wins than, can I stop myself from going to Starbucks and buying the $3 latte this week? Like, that's not gonna do you any good, right? So I really like his perspective. He's a fantastic reader. He enunciates his words very well, and I just like the added dimension of going off script in the audiobook. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I have a bonus for you. And so I, just fun fact, am not really a fiction kind of guy. I'm the personal finance, the biography, the self-development type of book reader. But when I was a kid, I really liked Harry Potter, and I hadn't read it since, I don't know, 4th grade or something, right? So a long time ago. So recently I picked up the first book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, on Audible, and I gotta say, if you're looking for just some entertainment and you just want to put on some headphones and just kind of chill and listen to a good book, Harry Potter is a great place to start. The guy who narrates it is fantastic, and so since it's fiction, it's different than like the self-development books where one person just reads it and it's the same person talking the whole book, right? But okay, I was saying before the camera died that this guy does the voices fantastically. So if Harry is saying something, even before he says the sentence and then finishes it with commented Harry or said Harry or whatever the word is, I already knew it was Harry Potter talking, right? And so you kind of just get enveloped in this world, and then your imagination is just running wild. And it had been a long time since I read a fiction book like that, and I gotta tell you, I absolutely loved it. So if you're looking for something like that, or just kind of a break from the self-development and the reading to learn, and you want to kind of just move in the direction of reading for pleasure, or listening, I guess I should say, for pleasure, I think that is a great place to start. So just as a recap, the 4 books that I brought up to you guys were Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, Cant Hurt Me by David Goggins, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi, and then the bonus one for me was the first installment of the Harry Potter series. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll link all the books down below. I'm curious to know how many you have already read, or when you do read them, comment down below back on this video and let me know what you thought of it. And yeah, if you like this video, consider sharing it, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, like button, all that good stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.